What goes up must come down. The former spy master is the latest ex-Bush warfighter to dare the President Museveni come 2021. General Tumukunde is now following the route his former co-fighters have taken, and the war story of ex-Bush war fighters seems not to end. This country seems to be ruled by those who claim to have fought for our freedom. Maybe it is time for Ugandans to go to the bush and fight if they want to become president. When they appear, or when election is near, they all come out and claim to have gone out and fought for Uganda. They fought for freedom, which have not taken off since they descended to power. The faces of those who want to become president are familiar to all of us. We have seen them before, and we had them before, and everybody who want to run for the presidency of Uganda, they come out and tell you that we went to the bush, we fought for it, so we have the right to claim the presidency. It is becoming a trend that whoever wants to stand or start his own party or have ambition to become president will come and tell you, I went to the bush, I fought for that freedom, so I'm entitled. I have the right to have everything I want because I fought in the bush. They even can go further by telling you that, you see, some of you who are talking, you have not fought at all. You have not gone to the bush, you didn't fight. You were doing nothing, but I was there in the bush. I carried that gun, I fought, I killed people. So anybody who is supposed to become the president of Uganda today, you need to be a fighter. You need to be a bush war fighter. If you are just a supporter who never went to the bush and fought, you are not entitled to become the president. That is what you hear from those who claim they fought in the bush. You see, the war of the generals has started. all those people who are general, all those people who carried gun in the bush, they will come and say, I want to be the president of Uganda. Because we have the right. If you fought for my freedom, if you fought for our freedom, what gives you the right to be the only person who can rule that country you fought for? Does it mean that people in Uganda cannot go to the bush and fight? So if every time we go to the bush, we fight, we come back, and then I keep telling you, you say, but I fought for it, you didn't fight, so you don't have a right to say anything at all to anybody. This is something that is destroying this country, because everybody who went to the bush want to take this country as their own property. They own it, they can do whatever they want to do. That is not going to happen. The outgoing UN ambassador, 𝙏𝙝𝙖𝙣𝙠 𝙔𝙤𝙪 warns that government that hang on to power for a long time usually end up badly. Believe me, NRM government is already on the way out. But the question Ugandans should start asking themselves, when, how, and what are the consequences to those who use the yellow shirts to intimidate Ugandans, tear gas the people, arrest without a crime committed. According to Malak, the future of the present government is to think they are above the law, that they are a God-given gift to the people of Uganda. They don't have plan for peaceful transition, which some of us relate to their own fear. Most of those wearing yellow shirts knows that they have stolen enough. The most corrupt and all wealth they got is through dirty deals, murder and loot, malpractices among the leaders. The flow of peaceful transition is covered with corruption, and no one knows who can be trusted. But even their own children, parents, relatives, or anybody close to them, the greed they created is turning against them. It's turning against them. When you use the yellow shirts to intimidate people, you are committing a crime. And if you think you're untouchable, then you better forget it, because you are, or claim to be untouchable. You're not. You're not. When we steal with impunity, when we kill with impunity, we all know we are doing something bad. We all know that the greed we created is going to turn against us. And trusting them is going to be something of the past, because nobody will trust you. Even if you leave power, even if transition comes tomorrow, that you hand over the government, people are not going to trust you. People are not going to be happy, because what you had been doing has gone beyond reality. The longer you stay in power, the more you plant frustrations and fear that are often accumulated and just wanting to burst open. And if it does, then there cannot be anything else but a rebellion. All people can stay back and wait until the time that such a government comes down. Then the fire of frustration will burst open. Neighbors will be neighbors against neighbors, brothers against brothers, and the weak are the one who are going to suffer. A man with money can always find a way out. Sometimes we say money is power. Most of us are keeping quiet. Most of us are hiding our frustration. Most of us have lost families, friends. There's nobody in Uganda who has not lost dear ones. As I said before, many Ugandans are peddling through psychological trauma because ever since we liberated this country, we have hungry leopards who are roaming the state, who are killing people, who are creating confusion. They are there. Why do you create so many different military organs within the military itself, while you have the police to keep peace? But on top of that, you still create a local defense unit. You still create different types of reserve army. Everybody is weaponized in this country of ours. Everybody is trained to lie, to steal. And if you ask yourself, brothers and sisters, is that the way you want to go? Are you going to enjoy that money you stole or you rob somebody out of it? Are you going to make it last forever? You see, we have a saying that in this world, nothing lasts forever. So you have to be very careful what you do. Because if you think this is the end of the road and you'll always live forever, then you are wrong. Because even the leopard, even the generals, they don't live forever. Something that goes up must always come down. It does not matter how long you stay up. When you're up there, whether you're in a jet fighter, whether you're in an airplane, you have to have enough fuel to keep you up. But the moment you run out of fuel, then you're in trouble, because you have to come down and land. And when you come and land, and you have these hungry people who have not eaten for a long time, they will be waiting for you when you land. You see, when the feeling of being a part of a country, the feeling of being a part of the state falls short, and you fail to satisfy those you once claim to have liberated, or those you once mistreated, those people will never forget you. Whether you offer them dirty money, whether you print more money, it is not going to help you, because it's natural. What goes up must come down. If you think you can buy all of us with dirty money, it will not save you from the people. It will not save you from the people you are calling the underdogs. Believe me, the house of cards will be on fire. Where are you going to run when they come for you? Where are you going to run when they come for you? The road to heaven will begin to narrow, and the road to hell will be wide open to receive you. You will then start remembering and begin to beg and say, I wish I listened to alternative views. when you are still in power. You should have listened to the people. Who are using their position of political power for corruption and other human rights abuse, that you should have rejected it. You have not treated everybody equally, because the government has obligation to care about its people, but you don't. And you have the power to correct bad things that happen to the citizen of that country. You didn't. Instead, you use tear gas or the police brutality and putting self-interest above the nation. We all know that a transition period will come to Uganda. It is just a matter of time. We are going to see change, which is just around the corner. And nothing is going to stop it. That change is going to burst open. Ugandans are going to lead the change. And those who were involved in torture, beating, tear gassing Ugandans will be brought to justice. We have seen a lot of government hang on to power. But when the time comes, it can be dangerous. Inciting, and you end up like a bag of sand falling down from heaven. You will end up like a bag of sand falling down from heaven. And the same people you mistreated will be there to collect the pieces. That is when Ugandans will start to exercise their constitutional right, the right of assembly, the right to move freely, the right to be free, and the right to free election. This is when the constitution that does not serve the state will be suspended, tear down, and everything reverted to what it should be. You see, when you hear about the war of generals or the leopards fighting one another, then you know that the gate to hell is near. When they start fighting themselves, when they become greedy, when they don't listen to anybody at all, then you know the gate to hell is near. Uganda is for all of us. It's not only for the generals. It is not only for the leopards. It is not only for the lions. It is also for the goats and the chicken. And let me tell you a story. We had a lot of dictators that thought they would die in power. But even in death, the road can become narrow. You see, when a dictator dies, or a dictator is taken out, we have to find a way to unite the country, to unite the people, because the hatred, the pain, the psychological trauma they have gone through is deep-rooted. It's deep-rooted within our society. See what is happening in Libya after Gaddafi. They are still fighting up to now. There's a lot of destruction. That is what we, as the people of Uganda, should try to avoid. But refusing to listen to one another, refusing to understand one another, refusing to correct the bad and apologize for the wrong things we have done to our people for so many years, and we still continue as nothing really happened. We just continue. We have become selfish. We only think of ourselves. You don't think of anybody else. As long as you are eating, whether somebody is killed next to you, you don't care. Because you have the power in your hand. Because you belong to the people with power. Because you think that power is not going to go away. But you're wrong. Believe me. You're wrong. That is why I said, and I keep saying, what goes up must come down. You cannot stay up there for all these years. You will come down. And when you come down, then there are people who are going to collect the pieces. So for our fellow Ugandans who still think that no matter whether they mistreat the opposition, whether they mistreat somebody, whether they kill people in West Nile or in Acholi or in Luwero, then you are going to live forever. It does not matter as long as you get what you got at that moment. But let me tell you, blood money and dirty money will never make you a better person. If you had been derailed in a yellow shirt and you think that nothing will come to an end, then you're very, very much mistaken. Let me tell you something. Most dictators end up badly, and it will happen. It is not yet too late to change and join people who understand what life is all about. What life is all about. And prevents the worst of the worst. Thank you for listening.